The royal family could remain useful as a link between the British nations after Wales, Scotland and England go their separate ways, Dafydd Wigley has said. The Plaid Cymru, member of the House of Lords and former leader, said that the nations would need to find joint institutions in order to work together after independence. He told S4C Newidian that the monarchy would play a similar role to other nations where the Queen is the head of state, such as New Zealand. The reality is that in these islands, even if Scotland and England and Wales are independent countries, we will have to have some way of working together with each other on issues that are important, he said. We also accept, the party accepts in Wales, the SNP accepts in Scotland, that the monarchy will remain. The Queen's work should be different towards Wales and Scotland than it is now. It should be more similar to what she is doing with New Zealand, but we respect that as a kind of link that shows that we recognize the relationship that has been with England, but from the point of view of the practical day-to-day power, that it would be in the hands of Wales. Dafydd Wigley added that the independence movement needed to be able to answer reasonable questions regarding how the relationship between Wales and England would function after independence. There is work to be done to answer quite reasonable questions from Mrs. Jones, who lives in Connah's Quay and who works in Chester and goes back every day, that we will have an open border, that goods will be being able to move back and forth, that money will be able to move back and forth, he said. And these are the questions that must be answered clearly before we ask the people of Wales to vote for independence. I am fully convinced that it is possible to get those answers that are clear and concise and correct, and that it is possible to convince the people of Wales at the appropriate point in time. We haven't reached it yet, but it will certainly come within the next few years.